All right, sorry about that, everybody. My computer basically went no longer signal send, obviously splicing. It is the will of the god saving the bishop. Yeah, that bishop is so resilient that he crashed my computer. You'll notice that the Two Steps from Hell music is on. I actually found it a little bit difficult to speak cogent sentences with that music going on in the background, so I'm going to switch back to the original soundtrack for a little while. If you want to have some other music on, let me know. I'll try and put something on. But for now, I think I'll just go back to the original soundtrack as I'm a little bit more used to it. Now, because we're playing Iron Man, this should hopefully translate to no real progress lost, but let's see if that's the case. Nothing too major. Translate to... I've lost chat for a minute, so sorry I can't see anything. I'll let you know when chat is loaded back for me. Actually, I might need to do an external client for chat again. Regrettably, though, I believe the fact that my stream went down meant I lost Jessiquel's generous host. So, for those of you who have stayed from that channel, who came into the chat, thank you so much for staying along. Glad to have you. And for the rest of you, thank you for coming in and sharing it with me. It looks like chat is up again for me, so if you would like to berate me for my poor play style, I await your ridicule. Okay. Now, as far as major influences are concerned, I can't really win anybody over with education. So at this point here, I'm just going to start sort of going piece by piece, looking for people with reasonably desirable stats, but also people I want to bring on my side. In this case, the Prince of Scotland is a good place to start. Is picnic a Canadian curse word? No, picnic is just picnic is just it's a Twitch convention. It's a deliberate misspelling of panic. Redvine, sorry, I didn't see you there before. My computer crashed on me mid-stream. So we're back to Crusader Kings 2, and I had some music going on in the background, which kind of made me a little, I think, less intelligible. So we've had a fairly creative couple of turns, just because the kingdom has been inherited by people who maybe last a couple of years and then die. So we haven't been able to get the succession laws that we're looking for. We did manage to get a big chunk of England. And right now we're just trying to seize some territory, which somehow wound up in the hands of Castile. And will hopefully be added to Scotland shortly. And thank you, Redvine, for clarifying the panic picnic basket. Of course we lose. Just as I say that we keep losing kings. King Oskill has steadfastly fallen asleep in the Lord at age 51. He died in battle against King Eardwulf of England. Long live King Yormund. Alas, King Oskill of Scotland has died bravely on the field of battle. Alas. Alright, so we're back to having 9 holdings when I should only have 5. I think... alright, so I've got a son, and I believe CPO Williams, you had suggested that we should start naming children after people in chat. I'll change that slightly in saying that people in chat can choose the name that they want. And I think the best thing to do here is, because this was your suggestion, how about you start us off? What would you like to name this child? I'm glad it's a son. William. It seems my amorous adventures have resulted in a child. Little Eadbald is my spitting image. I thought it was William. I will acknowledge him as mine. That was CPO Williams got first crack at that, and I think I need to find a way of doing that in order, but I think we'll definitely get chat's input on the names of all the kids that we have from now on. I love the name William Wallace, though. Your Chancellor, Prince Senfus, has offered to go through your newly acquired Demesne titles and distribute them to existing vassals in order to ease the burden of government. I'll say, no thanks, I'm fine. I will win this war first, and then I'll distribute them. Cathar heresy has appeared in the province of Gloucester. And we know how we feel about Cathars in this realm. So let's proselytize. And hopefully we'll get rid of them quickly. Okay, let's see what we can do about the betrothed. So, kids lack a guardian, so let's... This is a son, so we'll make sure... Actually, I think I'm just going to use as much as I can on this high stewardship teacher. I thought it changed. I definitely entered it in, but it definitely used the name Eadbald the first time. So we'll see what happens when I have to educate him in a few years. And I don't have better Twitch TV, but I guess, you know, people have mentioned that a couple of times, so I really should look into incorporating that. All right, and because this is a daughter, we're going to do a political choice. Man, my people hate me. So first I'm going to look for any dukes, which... Only Gabriel, who I was constantly trying to kill. Lower Crown Authority of Scotland is now a really, really scary faction. I think what I'm going to do, though, is start picking apart England in this war, just so I can get that war score up and I can consider my next move. He personally holds just Bedford, which is where we'll go. And it's telling me to spend technology, so let's do that. I actually particularly like light infantry, but I've already got 3 in there, so let's do heavy infantry next. Trade practices is nice. Well, I'll do that and then construction. And then legalism is really tempting. I need another point to make it... Oh, this is tough. I'll actually go for Majesty first, just because that guarantees me piety and prestige gain. Legalism is important because that'll eventually unlock absolute crown authority, but in this case I still need to get 2 slots for it, so I figure I might as well get paid while I wait. I know that's not going to be a popular choice in chat, but it's what I did. It's just a Google Chrome extension. Can't imagine not having it anymore. It's so convenient. I don't actually use Google Chrome. I use Safari because I'm on a Mac, but I was going to say, if it makes it better for streaming, I can definitely just make Chrome my streaming, make Chrome my streaming browser. And it seems like that's a good way I can sort of have it both ways. But yeah, I mean, I've only ever heard good things about Better Twitch TV, so I think it's just because overall, I've always watched... Actually, let's just take a look. Okay, so we've got a lot of factions forming and collapsing. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, there's nothing stopping me from... nothing stopping me from using a tool like Better Twitch TV. I think it's just largely because I didn't really know what it did, and I haven't had a need to use something like that until very recently when I've been streaming quite regularly, and things like having polls for character titles actually becomes relevant. So something I'll try and look into this week, actually. I don't know when I'll incorporate it, but I think it's a suggestion that's come up a couple of times, and I think it's a good one. It seems to be something that'll make the experience better for people. So, and that's definitely something I'm interested in doing. Okay, let's start by firing some advisors and getting good ones in place. I know this will not make me popular, but probably better to get this done right now. And he is actually the best person for the job, so. So next what we're going to do is collect taxes in my capital, train troops in my capital, because I think we're going to basically be in a perpetual state of war. Let's start by ripping apart these factions. There's really no advantage to going directly for the leader, but he's the one I was last working on. And I always want Reynald for his support for High Crown Authority anyway, so I will work on him anyway, just because the higher opinion he has of me, the easier time I'm going to have converting him. Next thing, let's see if I can give over some of my territory. So I have the Duchy of Mercia, Lancaster, Northumbria. Let's give Mercia to my son. Oh, but it's involved in an ongoing war, so we can't do that yet. We need to kill Wales and make Scotland look like it's pooping. Well, good. I mean, I can create the Kingdom of Wales at any point, and that'll give me a... Alright, let's cut this force in half, and we can go deal with the Castilians. Okay, so Duke Reynald hates me even more as a result of my Chancellor's bad work. Yeah, I can basically create the Kingdom of Wales at any point, and that'll basically give me some automatic attacks on them. After years of careful planning, Bjornulf of Banbury from the Count Earl Idwulf of Essex has raised a large army of exiles, mercenaries, and hopefuls, declaring his intention to press his claim by force. Well, good luck with that. So basically what this means is that some guy in my court has decided he wants to go and try and conquer somebody else's territory. I can actually be the target of something like that, but they almost always fail. And we have another daughter that needs educating, so let's find somebody who hates me and just shuffle her off on them for a while. It's actually all courtiers, so... let's try something no, actually, Reynald's gonna die soon, so... Let's actually make her worth... Oh, okay, actually... So he's got a reasonable stewardship, and he still doesn't like me, so we'll go for that. Alright, so a couple factions disbanded. This one always scares the hell out of me. I'm surprised that they haven't made their move, to be completely honest. It shouldn't be that hard as everyone hates me. It's true. Oh, they changed. So England just became... No, England's still intact, but they are now known as the Kingdom of Galatia for some reason. Oh, it looks like it got split into multiple parts, that's why. Alright. So they're even weaker than before. That's all that really matters to me. I will say one nice side effect of having so many quick successions is basically the treaties that you sign are basically between, like, it's between the individual kings. So if I wanted, I could actually declare a war on England again right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to worry about this war with Castile, and I'm going to sort out my Domaine. But it's definitely... I've just lost my cursor. Bear with me a second here. There we go. But basically, it'd be nice if I actually had a little bit more stability in this kingdom, but in lieu of that, I can at least turn this fairly bumpy road of succession to my advantage. It definitely speeds up conquest. The biggest problem with the seniority succession is just that once you have it, it's really difficult to get rid of because of the, how short your rulers wind up living. I'm not crazy about the size of those forces, but let's punch Wessex here. And I think they're going to try and hit me in Somerset, so let's see if I can get out on time. Probably not, but I think we'll still win. Nope, looks like we did. Okay, so my son's claiming he can be a better steward. They are equal, so I'll say give Osred a chance. Oh, looks like these guys are heading straight for... Oh, Northampton, so I don't need to worry about them. I was a little bit worried they were going to defend the King of England's holdings. If they were... I mean, I'd still be able to deal with them, but I don't necessarily want to lose too many troops because that emboldens the factions. Is this a CK2 only night? I was originally going to do a little bit of Dragonfall, but I suppose it depends on how far I get in this. Like, I kind of like this to be a good, solid Crusader Kings 2 playthrough. But I guess it kind of depends what happens in the game. I mean, so far we've just been trying to scramble and do like 1/3 of the things we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. And Bavaria, you had a king live to 103. Oh, and you you hated the fact that he had all the peace treaties. Yeah, I guess it's what, 10 years per peace treaty, so that would be... Well, still, that's 10 wars back to back if he was prolific. Alright, I never use my Spy Master to arrest, so we'll get him to get some practice assassinating people. So we're slowly getting work done on the Castilian troops, but I'm really not crazy about how many English troops are running around. I think what we'll do is we'll take a minute to attack the troops of Wessex here, and that's just because Wessex has a bit of a history of becoming a thorn in my side. I also think I have an idea of what to do once this war is over. It's going to be a little risky, but I think we'll make one big push to get the High Crown Authority in. Okay, great. So this war with Castile is over. We'll offer them peace with enforcing demands, which gives me 100 prestige and the County of Worcester. So we will drop our troops. I'll collect my personal retinues and put them in my capital. Oh, and let's get some education done. Yeah, everybody hates me. Oh, but that's probably because of the size of my domain, so that'll be fixed in a minute. Actually, before we do any education, let's get that dealt with right away. Okay, so I'm not going to have my chaplain until the Cathars are dealt with. God, I keep forgetting the territory. Okay, that's where my troops are. Okay, my son will be educated by... These all kind of suck. But we'll do Osred just because 8 is about average. So it's only intrigue, which is kind of low. Is England in this war as well? Yeah, England was on... They decided to ally with Castile. So I just took that as an opportunity to kind of march over some of their troops and make them weak. They're now at 1.6k troops. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at what we can do as far as claims are concerned. Now, the one thing I don't want to do is claim England for this vassal because he hates me, and I don't believe he would remain my vassal. What I can do, though, is claim Somerset. I could also claim York, but this guy hates me, so... Somerset was sort of on my wish list. I believe it is held by Wessex. So in that case, it weakens one of the forces. It weakens one of the elements that was actually causing me problems before. It has a fairly high levy. So as a result, we'll be able to weaken England pretty significantly through that. William is a bastard. Sad day. Yeah. Oh, we've got a Cathar court here. Oh, well, I won't worry too much about it. Alright, so bringing people onto my side. Let's just go for here. So I sort of lied about the fact that I was going to do something non-war oriented. I will say that I rule in my realm because I don't want to give up free investiture. I've already got my chancellor and all of that working on the members of factions. The biggest worry that I have is these guys declare their independence when I go to war with England, but that's going to happen no matter what. So I think in this case here, we'll just take advantage of the new generation and we will add Somerset to our holdings. And that'll be the last war we go into for a bit. Also gives me a chance to raise some vassal levies, so in case my vassals do decide to rebel, that'll put me in a slightly stronger position than if they sort of just arbitrarily declare it. No Pope, we declare the Cathars. Leave us alone. Yeah, we just named our bastard William after William the Conqueror, who's going to come and be my undoing. Alright, well the vassals are mad about having the levies raised, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Well, I can, cancel the levies, but I'm not doing that yet. So what I'm going to do here is unite, split it into two. So the first one is going to go lay siege to Somerset. The next one is going to go hunting for Englishmen. Looks like the English have already picked a fight that they can't win either. Alright, so I gained the trait Patient through that fight. And I think that's basically the English army dealt with. Oh, nope, they apparently have some reserves somewhere. So basically I'm going to wipe these out before I consider dropping my vassal levies. Oh, which has just happened, so... I've also been ignoring a lot of the plots going on inside of my realm. I do want to get back on top of that, but right now I'm sort of just concerned with a lot of the wars. A Jewish exile, fleeing persecution elsewhere, everywhere in Europe, has shown up in your court. His time spent abroad has gifted him with many connections, and is by all accounts an able diplomat. He would make a fine chancellor. So the garrison is 3,000 troops. I can't afford anybody to run down the English, but maybe once we finish this siege, we'll split the troops again and hunt Englishmen. Be very quiet, I'm hunting wabbits. Indeed. Lost another pope. We kind of stopped keeping track of the relative holiness of different popes, but that's more so a matter of we haven't really had any standout piety. It's definitely been a very bumpy playthrough this time around. I don't think I've had a game quite this uneven. All right, excellent. I believe that one of your vassals can be discouraged from associating with conspiratorial factions if the proper leverage is obtained. How do you wish to proceed? I will obligate him, and as long as that works, I can move on to the next stage of dismantling that faction. The popes are dying almost as quickly as my kings. I know. Honored King, thank you for reminding me of my duties and obligations as your vassal. You are right, of course. For the foreseeable future, I will. You have my promise not to support factions conspiring against you. Very good. So, well, gee, Lower Crown Authority in Scotland now only has 174% of my troop strength. Let's rank these guys by... Individually, they're not that strong. So Magnus, yeah, it's Reynold that's really the troublemaker. So Reynold's already going to have a counselor working on him, or should. So let's go to Magnus of the Isles. He's got 2,000 troops, so that's a pretty big blow to that faction if they lose him. Yeah, I mean, there's a point where that faction was at 200% of my my troop strength, and they still haven't actually pulled the trigger. And I mean, it's the worst one too, because it's looking for lower crown authority. So it's one that I'm never ever going to accept the demand for. You've been studying alchemy recently, for the sole purpose of learning everything you can about poisons. You have learned the answers to the most important questions as to which poisons are the most potent, and which are most difficult to detect, and how best to guard against them. This knowledge may save my life one day. Gain 1 intrigue. We've collected a tithe in Westmoreland for 68 gold. We're actually currently making money during this war too, which is always nice. If you can turn a profit while you have troops raised, you're generally in a good spot. Okay, so Lower Crown Authority of Scotland with the loss of... I don't even know who that was. Okay, so for whatever reason... Magnus of the Isles just arbitrarily left them. So let's take on Arthur the Fat of Albany. Oh, did I just move my... I did just move my Chancellor. That sucks. Alright. Okay, well, I'm going to have to wait a while for to get my Chancellor back. Okay, well, we finally got this alliance with Italy we were looking for. William is afraid of the dark. So it looks like his name did go through. They don't actually want to fight, they just want my attention. I can ridicule him, that should do it. 50% chance he becomes slothful, 30% he becomes wroth, and 20% chance he becomes craven. I can try to address the cause of the fear, where 50% chance he becomes trusting, 30% chance he becomes diligent, and 30% chance he becomes craven. Or I can let him handle it alone, 50% chance of craven, 30% diligent, and 20% cynical. I will try to address the cause of the fear. William seems to work so hard when he needs something done. He has gained the diligent trait. Yeah, you're not kidding about Disease the Bear. It's, this is kind of like, I don't know, this is Game of Thrones. The icy kingdom to the north is just full of badness. I get my Chancellor back on January the 16th. William the Badass. It's a good thing I don't actually live in Scotland. Yeah, I'm enjoying life in this paradise here, which is to the border of the diseased territories, but not actually diseased. So we're slowly making progress on Somerset. That's good, at least. The faction's still becoming a nuisance. But yeah, it looks like its members are actually dropping off at a fairly nice pace. How's that vote for independence going? Independence is not really a factor. I was more so worried about Lower Crown Authority, which still is 87% of my troop strength, but they're losing faction members pretty quickly. Oh yeah, I can use my Chancellor again. I don't know why I'm putting so much attention on this one guy, because he's definitely not going to be alive that much longer. But as long as he is, he's going to be one of the people who's holding up my Higher Crown Authority. So I might go to a period of extended peace just so I can host a lot of feasts and hopefully get my realm in order. Oh, you meant in real life Scotland. I believe the independence movement is effectively dead. Today my son Selred asked me for a fief of his own to govern. I told him he is not ready. Because I don't have any fiefs to give. Dragon bows and... Okay, I don't care about Vikings right now. And we have more factions that are being formed, but as long as they don't have enough troops, I don't really care. Chalk's talking about peace again. We all know that's a joke. I'm doing my best, guys. That big stack of Englishmen is so tempting to just go and barrel over, but I really want to control all of Somerset before I do anything like that. Oh look, the disease is gone. A learned Jewish man has appeared in your court. He comes highly recommended in the arts of bookkeeping and administration. Already he has suggested several ways of improving bureaucratic efficiency in the realm. He could potentially make a fine steward. Indeed. Extended peace, not likely. Prince Harold the Merry has usurped the title of the County of Gwent from King Merrig. Oh, nice. So I've got more territories inside of my... Alright, so I will usurp the Petty Kingdom. I guess I gotta give that title to somebody. I really should have thought about that before I hit that button, but... At least that makes that guy happy. And we're, I mean, that much closer to... what do I need to usurp England? I need a certain percentage of the island, which I may have actually already hit, but they also need to not be at war. Yeah, Vassal basically just gave me Wales. Same thing almost happened with Suffolk, I think, as well. Now, the funny thing is I didn't actually give the title to the vassal that got me that title. So now that we've claimed Somerset, basically we're just going to go through and do as much damage as we can to the English troops, because I just need that last 10% to... I need that last 10% to get my... to be able to enforce my claims. So the one thing that I think Europa Universalis does a little bit better is they don't force you to do these ridiculous battles constantly. Once you hit a certain percentage, you can try and enforce the peace. All right. So that war is done. It's not telling me I can usurp anything. But he is at war, so it's possible... It's possible I may actually be able to usurp the title of England. So, here's what I am going to do to try and get the laws in place that I want. First of all, I'm going to go on a pilgrimage. So spend the gold, get 20 piety. Let's ransom as many prisoners as I can. And... just going to hold off on this for a minute. I like making big vassals on the borders of different religious nations so they can start a holy war for you. That's actually a good idea. I generally don't like having big vassals at all. The King of England's wife is in jail. I don't know if that's because I imprisoned her or because she did something bad. There are a large number of different holy sites that you could visit on your pilgrimage. All of them are considered most sacred by the Holy Church, but a somewhat closer destination might mean a safer journey. Let's go to Jerusalem again. I will travel to the Holy Land. And why do my dudes hate me so much? Probably because for a lot of times I've had too many duchies. I'm also currently holding one too many holdings in my demesne. Oh, to the Honourable King Yormid, blessing on you and your house, I accept your ransom for the safe return of Baron Pelagio. Pelagio, whatever. Because he's slightly a D-bag of a ruler. That is also probably why all my vassals hate me. Yeah, so we had captured his queen, and we're just basically ransoming everybody now. Oh, the Cathar heresy has reared its ugly head in the province of Cumberland. That's not ideal, because now I got two provinces with that. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is the riskier move of releasing every single prisoner. Oop, apparently I can't. So I don't know what's going on with this one, but we'll hold off. Next thing I'm going to do is make sure that every plot against people who have a high opinion of me is cancelled. So now I get to have a bunch of vassals grovel for, oh, blessings on you and your house. I will eventually kill Christina, Iwan's daughter. You cannot stop me. That was unexpected. You look out across the beautiful valley stretching out before you. It would be a wonderful moment, if not for the fact that there should be no valley here. You are a pilgrim in an unfamiliar land, and you have no idea where you are. If only I hadn't listened to those useless peasants that gave me directions. Or, if only I'd listened more to those peasants that gave me directions. I wish you could plot to kidnap, imprison other characters in Vanilla CK2 like you can in the Game of Thrones mod. I haven't actually played the Game of Thrones mod yet. But yeah, it would make inheriting other kingdoms quite a bit easier. Oh, I don't quite know why, but my domain size has gone from 5 to 4. That's a bit of a pain. Okay, your wisdom and mercy. Okay, yeah, I'll... these are just letting me know they're not supporting these schemes anymore. So I was okay with that, not okay with that, so let's just tell them to stop. If I can't stop it directly, I'll starve it from supporters. Traveling down the long and lonesome road, you come upon a man lying in a ditch. He seems to have been robbed and beaten up quite badly. Bind up his wounds and help him to an inn and pay for his recovery. Your Majesty, blessings upon you. Yeah, except that I'm not going to read that. You finally arrived at Jerusalem. Passing by the Mount of Olives, you enter through the city gate and are immediately overcome by a feeling of having made a truly epic journey. The city is filled with people of all creeds and colors, the air heavy with smells of strange spices and foreign plants. You make your way through the throng of people and animals, excited by the knowledge that you are now close to the Villa Dolorosa and other holy places. You also plan to visit the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, but first of all you need to find some place to stay. After all, you wouldn't want to be forced to sleep in a stable, would you? Oh yeah, that's a good point. My regent's stewardship's probably pretty bad. The stories of other pilgrims all spoke of how impressive this place is. Now that you can see it with your own eyes, you can only join in their praise. You are glad that you came here to one of Christianity's holy places. It was well worth the journey. Gain 20 piety. You have finally returned from your pilgrimage. It was a rewarding and interesting journey, and you'd do it all again if you could. Still, it's good to be back home. a great experience. Gain 30 piety and the trait pilgrim. And the regency is over, and yes, indeed, we have our domain limit back. After years of careful planning, Osred Rose has raised a large army of exiles, mercenaries, and hopeful, declaring his intention to press his claim by force. Well, good luck with that. Let's educate a child. He is potentially going to be someone who sits on the throne, so we'll do our... We've got a pretty thin talent pool. So Reynold seems to be the best option here just because like his war is very good and only two of them are... Actually, no, you know what? Gamal is better, so we'll go for that. And I just lost a steward. Oh, but Sailred's pretty good, so... Actually, what I think I will do, because I'm fairly healthy for economy right now, I'm actually going to research economy tech. And I don't... Well, yeah, let's get my marshal to research military tech. Is anybody else supporting my laws? Nope. Next, we'll hold a grand tournament. It's just a nice way to get some cheap prestige. Don't run, Vikings. So the next plan here is once all of my, once the tournament and things like that are done, I'm going to basically do as much feasting as I can to try and get everybody on my side to finally get those laws passed. I started this, for this playthrough it was the Old Gods starting date, so I think that's 867 AD. William needs martial ability to be high so he can be a badass. You're taking bets to see how long until the next war. You might want to do that in private messages because I'll do everything that I can to make sure that you don't, that those bets don't come true or don't win. Okay, so actually we'll take a quick look at what we can do here. So I obviously can't do anything against Galatia, nor do I want to because they're too far away. England, maybe. I don't really want to support any of these claims on England because that's going to be for me. None of these lower claims are for people who... So the only person who actually has a claim that I'm interested in following would be for Middlesex and York. Those are not going to happen until 10 years from now. So I don't need to worry about England. I don't even know where these are. Oh, Brittany. Yeah, so I mean, the rest of my war options aren't that attractive. So in this case here, this is mostly just building up finances. I should actually maybe take a look at my personal holdings and see if I can build. So Cumberland, let's see what I've got here. Can build a castle shipyard, but that's not that impressive. Lancaster. Can build a barracks and a stable. Let's do a barracks at least. Oops. Westmoreland. Do housecarls, militia. I think I'll do barracks just because my retinue has a fairly high number of archers. Chester. Don't have the tech for a castle town. Derby. No tech for Castletown. And this is one I can actually probably get rid of, to be completely honest, but... Yeah, same deal. I don't want to go any lower than 1,000 gold, so I think I'm going to avoid spending money on those. But it at least gives me a slightly better chance at having a higher force. Alan de Rosberg has been crowned the winner of my grand tournament. He truly deserves it. Cedric Ewis of Heralds has won him second place in my grand tournament. Yeah. All right, so nobody really important won. Okay, well, we converted a subject, but we've not converted the province. The tournament is over and time to bask in its glory. So I think we can go on a grand hunt now. Oh yes, we were going to release this prisoner. And as far as plots are concerned, I think they are all for people who hate me, except for the one that refused. Our hunting party has cornered a large bear. A small argument amongst the hunters regarding who should get to kill the bear has nearly turned into a brawl. Just solve it already, gain 5 prestige, or give me the bear spear. 10 prestige, 65% no effect. And then you all pretty much know what's going to happen, but yes, give me the bear spear. And I did not die, thank God. Alright, and we've ended that plot that I wanted to end. What's the vassal opinion looking like? Still kind of crappy. But there's a lot of green, and there's 4 or 5 that like really hate me. So Feast will partly solve that. And then, yeah, we'll see where the rest execute all the plotters. I'm not that kind of king yet. The Monophysite faith triumph. The adherents of the Miaphysite faith have steadily dwindled to the point where the Monophysite believers are the majority. This new state of affairs has reduced the Miaphysite faith to a de facto heresy. All former Miaphysite holy orders are now Monophysite. I don't even know what kind of religion that is. The dogs have caught the scent of a boar in the forest. This is your chance of getting the mighty boar slain. The peasants will finish it. 5 prestige and 30% chance to become craven. Or 10 prestige, and again I throw my king's life needlessly at risk. I've been injured badly, and I've gained the wounded trait. As is my way. Yeah, I might do bribes. The Grand Hunt is over for now. This is a truly noble endeavor and a true challenge for our martial abilities. I am proud of my hunting abilities. 10 prestige. So I believe... Oh, thank you, CPO Williams. Obviously, I don't have an expectation of people to follow unless they want, but it certainly helps if they do. Yeah. So I will hold a feast, and I'll just try and get a couple of bribes in to see if I can at least turn them to 33 I can handle. Basically, I'm handing out the gifts to try and get them to a point where they're going to accept the invitation. Yee, 100. Well, I'll do it. Alright, so I think a lot of them are still not going to want to go along, but oh, so it is a Christian. It is a Christian group. The best part about preparing a feast is deciding what foodstuff to serve. I must purchase venison, boar, duck, spices, wine, and ale, honey for the desserts, cheeses, and perhaps even a swan or a peacock. And I will spend enough on food to satisfy everyone's hunger. I believe that is because I have the temperate trait. I can't go any higher. Yeah, definitely worth it, especially if I'm going to be doing a feast and that brings somebody present. That means that it's going to open them up to future future invitations. I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them aren't going to come along, probably 3 or 4, but we'll see. Most of the preparations for the feast have been made, and I now only have to send out the invitations. I hereby invite you to... Dear King Jormrand, thank you for your invitation, but I will not be able to attend your feast. In fact, I refuse to set foot in the same castle as you. Respectfully, Duke Arthur. So he has a negative 55 opinion. Is it just the one? Interesting. Right, the guests have finally arrived, all is ready, the cooks have worked day and night preparing the food, and the castle has never looked lovelier. Welcome to my feast. And we have a peasant revolt. But we know how to deal with those. It'd be cool if they added the Protestant religion for the character editor, even though it didn't start until the 1600s. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Europa Universalis deals with the Reformation. Although, I mean, certainly with some of the quote-unquote heresies that you see, you certainly see some of the issues that were being brought up. Anyone who does not eat cake must die. I have to cancel the feast due to the war I'm currently fighting against one of my enemies. Perhaps after the war I might throw a victory feast. So that is a complete pain in the ass. But there's always next year. It's pretty much my luck that the one time I actually finally have a state where I can make some progress in terms of getting these laws done, war gets in the way. But this should be pretty easy to knock down, and I guess I get some prestige for it, so... This battle has shown my true mettle. I am brave. Excellent. The old wound has finally healed, leaving a pretty grotesque scar behind. Ew. Lose the trait wounded, gain the trait scarred, which is a small monthly prestige gain. Oh, I've got 100 war scores, so let's just offer peace. And only 20 prestige. That's kind of annoying, actually. See how we're doing for tech. Nothing to write home about. So I think we can still hold a summer fair, and that's about it. So if I banish him, 300 gold will be seized. Doesn't seem like there's any penalty for that, so why not? When the alderman asked for permission for a summer fair, I could never have guessed I would regret it. After a pipe powder court held in front of my own bailiff, they sentenced one of my vassals to being drawn in a tumbler across the town square. I can't believe their impudence. Negative 25 or... local revolt. I'll go for the local revolt risk. I've shown I can handle a rebellion. I'm actually surprised at my relatively low gains. I mean, I suspect this is probably because of my retinue constantly reinforcing. The local nobles of Westmoreland complain about too many peasants entering the city during the summer fair. Ugh. I will tell them to accept the peasants just because I don't really want to... I can handle a little bit of revolt risk, but too much is getting careless. And I think I need to get my marshal on rebuilding my forces, because 29 out of 51 troop strength is not that good. Do I stream Crusader Kings 2 often? At least once a week, I think. I try to get some variety in it because I know Crusader Kings 2 isn't the favorite game for everybody who visits the stream. But I like it a lot, and I think there's a fairly consistent demand for it. So I make a commitment to try and do at least one a week, although in reality I usually do more than that. The peddlers are loading their wares and the merchants are taking down their stalls. The jugglers, the strolling players, and other entertainers are preparing to leave. The summer fair is over for this year. It was great fun while it lasted. Still don't have anybody supporting this High Crown Authority law, though. Ah, here we go. So, Moldovan the Wise has approved. And Reynold definitely has a high enough opinion of me that he should be supporting it. I'll keep my Chancellor there. Oop. The Merry Men of Westmoreland. My sheriff came to me today, looking harried and limping slightly. My lord, I fear I have grave news. A band of robbers and poachers calling themselves the Merry Men of Westmoreland are loosed in the forest. I have tried to find them, but alas to no avail. They chased me out of the forest several times, and the last time an arrow hit me straight in my buttocks. Wah! Sorry, do go on. We need to set a trap for them. 25% chance I gain the trait Diligent, 40% chance that the merry men make a move, or just ignore them. Let's set a trap. Annis Aberfraw died a natural death. Got another plot to deal with. But it's a bishop who doesn't like me, so I'm okay with him dying. I am not okay with somebody of my blood dying, though, so let's end that plot. The Bear, thank you for the follow. Gives me another reason to stream Crusader Kings, I guess. I do also intend to try Europa Universalis on stream as well, but that's a little less certain just because I'm not as good at the game. The dogs have caught the scent of a boar in the forest. This is the chance of getting a mighty boar slain. Because I don't learn from my mistakes, I'll face it alone with my spear. And he wants to arrange a marriage between King Matthias and... I don't even know how to pronounce that, but let's accept. I'm genuinely surprised that... Oh, hang on. We've lost Reynold. Okay, who's blocking the vote now? Oh no, Reynold's still alive. So the largest number of votes is... I've got Moldovan, Magnus, Arthur, and Archibald. I think Magnus is a little bit easier to... Well, see, Ranald also has 5 votes, and he still hasn't gone over, so I guess I'll keep my Chancellor there for now. I've got a chance to do another feast. Hopefully this time I don't have rebels. Oh, wait, I gotta wait for the hunt to finish. This is a fine sport. 5 prestige. If this doesn't end soon, There we go. The Grand Hunt is over for now. It was truly a noble endeavor and a true challenge of our martial abilities. I am proud of my hunting abilities. 10 prestige. Let's hold a feast, and hopefully we don't waste money this time. King Yormund of Scotland, my Scort chaplain, Bishop Elric of Furness, was killed by heathens when trying to spread the holy faith in Gloucester. Horrible, lose 15 prestige. Send in the next clone. Proselytize to the Cathar heretics. And let's appoint a successor for Gabriel, which still, for some reason, is still alive. See if I can bribe some vassals. Nope, still, it's too soon. Yep, the heathens killed him. Alright, let's see if this feast is more successful than the last one. The conjurer produced a rabbit from his hat, then made a handkerchief change color from brown to red, and he simply vanished from the room, only to knock on the door and open it a few seconds later. You must perform at my feast. Oh, Ranald has finally approved the High Crown Authority, and he'll probably die before I have a chance to actually implement it. So I'm going to cheese out and look for the most likely candidates, and Magnus the Lame is next on my list. If I was prudent, I'd wait till after the feast, but I'm not, so... He should be burning heretics, not preaching to them. It's new marching orders to the next guy. Let's lower our retinue reinforcement. Best part about preparing a feast is deciding what foodstuff to serve. I must purchase venison, boar, duck, spices, wine, and ale, honey for desserts, cheeses, and perhaps even a swan or a peacock. And I will spend enough on food to satisfy everyone's hunger. Most of the preparations for the feast have been made. I now have only to send out the invitations. Alright, so Duke Arthur still doesn't want to go to my feast. Still not quite sure why my... Oh, it's because I lost my wife, who probably was giving me some stewardship, so... I have no idea when I lost my wife, by the way. That's how much attention I'm paying to my... Okay, so I've got a Princess of Castile, Actually, Princess of France would be good. And she's 19, which is pretty good. Or we have a 16-year-old Princess of France, which is even better. And I gain 355 prestige, so let's make that happen. To the level-headed pilgrim Yormund, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. I accept your suggestion that you and Princess these names, Ermesindy, get married. The guests have finally arrived. All is ready. The cooks have worked day and night preparing the food, and the castle has never looked lovelier. Welcome to my feast. Some of my guests did not seem satisfied with food, but I would never have thought one of them would have complained out loud. Bishop Bjorn said a lot of nasty stuff about the food, and I couldn't help but feel irritated. If you don't have something nice to say, shut up. Everyone drank and were happy, except Bishop Egbert, who refused more wine. This insulting gesture means he does not appreciate my hospitality. Well, this is going well. Excellent. Okay, so the mission to Gloucester worked, and we've gotten rid of the Cathars there. So let's get our... Well, okay, so we can't switch until July 5th. The conjurer's magic tricks enchanted and charmed my guests at the feast. The women squealed with delight when he produced a rabbit from his hat, and the men laughed when he made my crown disappear and then found it under the jester's hat. Give that back. 10 prestige. The last of the guests have returned home, and everyone agreed it was this year's greatest feast. I had fun, and so did everyone else. Okay, more Vikings. Today my son Sailrin asked me for a fief of his own to govern. I told him he is not ready, because I don't want to go to war for it. I have no idea why the Swedish revolt is running after me, but that's terrifying. Alright, well the guy who I'm trying to get to approve High Crown Authority apparently wants to claim my title. Kill the bishops, become a Cathar. Not quite the strategy I was thinking of. My liege, the tale of your misdeeds are told from Ireland to Cathay. I will not withdraw my support for Duke Magnus's plan to fabricate a claim on the Kingdom of Scotland. Well, the good news is I don't have a whole lot of factions to worry about anymore. Let's see... I think I'll get rid of Walter for Scotland first, just because that's one guy. Oh, and it's a chance for me to be barbaric in my parenting abilities. Oh, William's getting educated. Sorry, but William's going to be a political education. Yeah, we'll go with this. The Golden Age is happening. We've gone like a month without war. Indeed. What a boring month it's been, too. Sorry, CPO Williams. The bloodline demands it. My liege, I believe that one of your vassals can be discouraged from associating with conspiratorial factions if the proper leverage is obtained. How do we wish to proceed? Threaten the vassal. Honored King, I ask your forgiveness if I have done something to offend. I obviously wouldn't dream of associating with any faction conspiring against you or your enlightened rule. You are forgiven. Look at those 12,000 troops. Okay, so we just tried to make Magnus like me, and we managed to make him dislike me. Can a gift tide this over? Actually, let's make this easier. You get a gift. Nope, you don't get a gift. You get it. Nope, you don't get a gift. You get it. Nope, you don't get a gift. You get a gift. You get a gift. You just got a gift. Damn it, these people all look the same. Okay, I'm really getting lost now. Not giving him 117. Alright, so that's enough gifts for now. And as far as vassals are concerned, I think I can turn... Oh, you know what? I probably can't give him an honorary title because he's too young. Alright, so my court's liking me a little bit better, but still not enough for me to get the laws that I want. I wouldn't dream of supporting if I knew my actions had consequences. Exactly. I think I'm going to switch from researching economy to raising money because my treasury's a little more fragile than I'd like it to be. Okay, good. So we've got at least one person off of backing that claim. Feast time! The wandering minstrel entered the castle singing and did not stop until he found me. With a flourishing bow and one long sad tone from his lute, he finished his song and asked for my patronage. I was just looking for some entertainment for my feast. 10 gold. No feast is complete without boar meat. Who will get the prestigious task of hunting and slaying boars needed for the feast? I will send out my son because that gives somebody of my bloodline... Oh wait, I can hunt them myself. Again, always go in for that prestige. Oh, and my retinue is... See, it says it's a 2k retinue, but I always cap out at 1800, so I'll just go down to the second highest. It gives away 1,000 gold. My treasury is so fragile. It's true. I'll spend enough to satisfy everybody's hunger. Most of the preparations for the feast have been made, and I now only have to send out invitations. And nobody declined. Guests have arrived, all is ready, the cooks have worked day and night preparing the food, and the castle has never looked lovelier. Welcome to my feast. Getting a little discouraged about the High Crown Authority just because I really thought we had a chance with this guy, but it's moving at a snail's pace. The minstrel sang and the leddies wept. The minstrel sang and the lords laughed. His performance at my feast was above my expectations, and I congratulated myself for hiring him. Sing that ballad once more, please. 10 prestige. Some of the guests were invited with an ulterior motive. I want their titles. I had trouble finding one of them alone long enough to set my plan in motion, and I was about to scrap it all together when I finally saw one of them alone in the garden. Okay, so I can imprison the person. I have something important I want to discuss with you, and I have enough titles. I don't need one more. Let's try the middle option. Oh, call to arms. Let's just hold off as long as we can on this. Last of the guests has returned home, and everyone agreed it was this year's greatest feast. I had great fun, and so did everyone else. Okay, now we'll accept. More factions being founded, but no people supporting my laws. Yeah, temperate does cause some problems as far as getting extra food. So I can send my spy master to start carving up some of these factions. Let's take Duke. Yeah. I'm almost thinking it might make sense next generation just to go for the centralization so I'm not suffering that opinion penalty due to my domain size. Bloody Vikings. He didn't know I have ulterior motives, Mike and I. Yeah, Italy didn't call us to arms. I believe it was France. Maud Rose is now of legal age. She became Midas touched. Okay, so I'm not crazy about marrying her off to that guy. What about him? Ah, for crying out loud. Okay. So we can't get alliances from these. We can't really get prestige from the king. What if we did matrilineal? They're all courtiers. Okay. Let's try... We'll do the Earl of Lincoln, that way we can at least have a possible claim later. I'm old as dirt and my mom's still alive. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we've... Oh no, it's not the province that converted. How old is Mom? 70. Curious who's next on the line of succession. Yeah, he's 45. Okay, awesome. So the bishop I hated just died. So at least the factions are sort of under control, but we're still not in a great spot just because of the succession laws. I think I'll just hold off to do the feasts only. Well, maybe a hunt. A hunt's okay for prestige, but could possibly kill my character as well. This is weird. Oh, right, we're at war. That's why I can't do these things. Alright, blackmail the vassal. Honored King, though I curse your name, I comply with your unfair demand. Just keep the sensitive information to yourself. Signed, Duke Magnus of the Isles. My king, word has reached me that your court chaplain has accused me of heresy. I implore you, as a devout Catholic and to another devout Catholic, to believe me when I tell you I am not a heretic. Your humble baron, I'm not going to say his name. He has 13 opinion of me, my court chaplain. Yeah, I'll say he's not a heretic. Okay, I think I can move my... Yep, I can move my spy master. So let's work on the Independence faction. It's likely that Arthur is not going to live. And let's just crank up the speed, because unless there's a war that goes on, I don't really need to worry too much about it. I don't feel too well. Something is wrong with me. I am burning up with fever. My nose is running, and my head feels as if someone is banging something hard against it. Please kill me. Wait a minute. Why isn't my chaplain proselytizing in the right place? If a revolution breaks out there, I'm blaming him. I should move into Ireland. The plan is to go into Ireland, but I've wanted to focus more on England because of their... Well, right now their troop strength kind of sucks. But the idea here is that anytime that I spend trying to take over Ireland is time that I'm distracted from... or is time that basically England can build up their troop forces to deal with me when I come after them. So as a result, I've kind of wanted to keep focused on that one area. All right, let's educate. These are okay stats, but it's the martial ability that always spooks me. Reynold seems to be the better option. Magnus still wants to take the kingdom from me. Maybe I just try and bribe a bunch of people to support my law again. Yep, they've all already been bribed. Well, it was worth a try. The fever is gone, my nose is dry, the headache is gone, and I feel alive once again. How's William doing? He ran away to Normandy. Let's see how William is doing. He is 8 years old, and he does have good martial ability. He's diligent, he's charitable, and he is zealous. My vassals have green next to their names. You don't know what yeah, I don't know what to do about that. There's a side of me that really just wants to pick a fight with England while this war is going on. Let's see if there's got to be something interesting we can do. Oh wait, no, we're still in our truce period. And oh, we do actually have claims in Ireland. Interesting. We will obligate the vassal for disbanding factions. Thank you for reminding me my duties and obligations as a vassal. You are right, of course. For the foreseeable future, you have my promise not to support factions conspiring against you. So that is only one more faction that we need to take out. Where's my Chancellor again? He is in the Hebrides, and so it's Magnus, who I believe is still an opponent. Yep. Can you start by killing off vassals and give the land to my family? I can kill off the vassals, but it doesn't mean that my family gets the land. Usually there's a son or a daughter to inherit it, so what's usually better to do is to strip them of the title, either directly or by provoking them into a fight with you, and then you can give the land to your family. That's definitely the long-term goal. As it happens, I've usually needed to give up the land for some other purpose, or it's already been in somebody else's possession. So I thought it would be better to take over England first, and then I can start sort of parceling out that land one at a time. The biggest thing is that none of this is really of any use to me until I have my primogeniture succession in place. Otherwise, it's just going to be, it's going to be like all these other successions, which are the most senior member inherits, and they wind up having a whole bunch of titles, which I then need to give away, and it makes it really hard to manage the lands, so... It dawns on you one day that there's plenty of intrigue happening right under your nose. Your servants, from the kitchen maids to the stable boys, share juicy gossip with each other on a daily basis. If you want to improve their twisted game of manipulation and deceit, then perhaps you ought to dive in and join in their prattle. Said and done. Next super old ruler, maybe go super tyrannical and revoke everything. I wasn't maybe going to revoke everything, but the plan definitely was to have a ruler who was near the end of his life start doing a bunch of revoking and sort of distribute them amongst the family in a way that made sense. It's hard to predict that stuff though, right? Because, I've had cases where I make just this complete badass and he winds up living for another 20 years. Taking part in the gossip sessions of your servants has proved an enlightening experience. Not only have you learned new ways to obtain sensitive information, but also that one of the milkmaids is secretly carrying the blacksmith's unborn child. Oh, the scandal. Gain 2 intrigue. Right, we've increased our knowledge of majesty. Holding of Lincoln is under attack. And we have got a whole bunch of fights going on. Okay, don't mind that one. Do mind that one. Again, my judgment as far as plots are concerned, if it's taking care of my personal holdings, obviously I worry about it. If it's taking out people who have a good opinion of me, I'll stop it. But if it's taking out somebody who has a low opinion of me, I'm not that worried about it. Unless it, I mean, there's some exceptions to that. If there's a vassal who becomes uniquely strong because of eliminating somebody, which will give him like twice the holdings that he has, I usually stop those as well. But One cynical comment after another. I could not take it anymore. I even tried to bribe Bjornid to so he would shut up and stop firing cynical remarks at me. Stop it, please. Alright, more people just groveling because I caught their faction. Nope, marriage proposal. This is Aquitaine. Why not? Oh wait, matrilineal. Screw that. Let's do... I could do French or I could do Italian. Oh, but it's minus 100. This is a tough one, actually. I don't want him to go into a matrilineal marriage, that's for sure. But I guess I do need to marry him off. You know what? He's going to lose prestige no matter what, so let's make it... Oh, nope, this one will work. Okay, so he'll be betrothed. Thank you very much, Bear21, and thank you very much for stopping by the channel. Have a good sleep, and I think we might switch into Dragonfall in a little bit, but we'll see if we can get through this guy's life at least. But I suspect you probably won't be missing much after this one. We're sort of into a holding pattern on this one, and just trying to get our laws through if we can. This war is also really hurting me, because I can't do any feasts or something like that. Can really only just bribe vassals, which I don't mind doing, but there's only so many times you can do that. Well, our troops are trained up as they're going to get, so let's at least get the Marshal onto something a little more productive and research military tech. I think I'm still going to use my steward to collect taxes, and we still have Cathar heresies, so I'm not going to do anything with my priest. I mean, I can start a fight in Ireland. Nope. Sick again. See, the worry that I have with that is that it just winds up sort of enriching the nobles that I'd be fighting on the behalf of. It'd be nice if I could just get my own casus belli and add them to my own territory so I can start like handing them off to family members that I would want to have the duchy. Alright. I've got a prince to marry off. Let's get him... They're all countesses. Well, she's a duchess, so... Oh, looks like Duke Reynold is back to his old tricks. Oh, that was short-lived. So yeah, we just kind of sit and wait for people to either approve the law or my guy to die. Not the most exciting viewing. Oh, but we can send out gifts, so let's bribe. Okay, I can only send out one gift. Well, we're a little bit closer. I mean, there's a side of me that just wants to go down to this, Oop. I can gain 10 prestige. Right, I had trouble with a vassal of mine and tried everything I could think of to help us get along better. Chancellor Prince Harold managed to do in one day what I'd struggled to do with several weeks when he told me told me to just ask the vassal for forgiveness. That was all that was needed. So I can... Yeah, I'll take the prestige. I don't mind if my chancellor doesn't like me. Nope, truces are expiring. That's... Oh, but it's Galatia. I'm not too worried about that. And that king's wife always seems to be imprisoned. Revoke everything and then there's no vassals to say otherwise. Well, that's a good point. If I'm feeling particularly desperate, let's say when this guy gets around his 60s, maybe I'll start revoking some titles. Large merchant caravan from distant lands arrived at the gates of my stronghold. Their leader, a jovial man of massive girth, pleads with you in a strange accent to grant them shelter from the elements for a night. Very well, let them in. Oh, looks like Duke Garrick of Lothian has approved the proposed High Crown Authority law in Scotland, although I think I already saw that. As evening falls, the fat merchant sits by the fire and regales you and the rest of your court with stories of his travels. His appetite seems insatiable, but as you do not wish to prove a poor host, you order your servants to bring in a second serving. Dawn breaks and the caravan prepares to move on. The merchant insists on giving you a gift, as thanks for your great hospitality. He shouts a terse command in a foreign language, and a young man comes forward. This eunuch will serve you well, the merchant says. His loyalty to you, his new master, shall be beyond reproach. That is very kind, I accept your gift. And we will threaten the vassal. I think that gets rid of the last faction in the kingdom. Yep. So I've got 15 versus 14. Yeah, why not? Probably wind up dying to heretics anyway. Okay, so there's nothing else for my spy master to do right now, so I will send him to go spy on other countries. Oh, and you know what? It looks like we've basically absorbed all of Wales, so at this point I'm just going to create the Kingdom of Wales. It's a nice little prestige boost. It looks like England's in basically a state of total war. I don't think I've ever seen them not in some kind of conflict. King of Wales. Let's see if the Welsh are more inclined to accept my laws. Oh, you know what? That was a problem. I should have held off, so when I had primogeniture in Scotland, I could get that. Oh well. News has reached a court that a claimant to one of my titles, Richard, is hiring men for an attack against me. Oh dear, I hope he is not prone to accidents. I don't think it's worth bribing anybody for this, but I'll just kind of have a standing order to kill him. Collected ties in Westmoreland. Looks like my vassals are actually doing a good job of just adding the rest of England to my holdings no matter what. So it seems like Wales is a little bit more inclined towards accepting High Crown authority. I cannot empire yet. So yeah, Wales doesn't have quite what it needs, but let's see if we can get Harold on side. 118, but we'll see if it works. Oh, great. Yeah, so it's basically just over half that I need, so we're not at peace, and okay, so the next thing I need to do is have all the Welsh nobles have positive opinions of me. Wow, that's a lot of people who don't like me. Okay, well, let's start using some honorary titles. So I've got a Keeper of the Swans for you. I will make you Master of the Hunt. I think if I make her Seneschal... no, I don't want to designate a regent. Alright, well that's the most I can get out of titles. Alright, so I'm going to need 28 more votes. That's a very tall order. That's basically 3 more vassals, and then I need to have everybody like me. So I think, what does... It takes, I think, 80% of the holdings of the empire. Or I think you need to have 80% of the holdings to become an empire. Oh, fate smiles upon me, and my wife is pregnant. I think what I'm going to do here, actually, because we've been sort of idle for a little while, I know we're getting near the end of this guy's life, but I think I'm going to save here, and we are... You thought it was just 2 kingdoms? No, so there's 3 kingdoms in the Empire of Brittany, or sorry, of Britannia, and you need to have a certain number of the individual counties that actually make up that empire. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to call it for tonight on Crusader Kings 2, just because we're sort of stalled out a little bit, and I think this is a good spot which would kind of lead into a like a new session. We can sort of talk about what we're going to try and do at the end of this guy's life. We can maybe decide whether or not we're going to start revoking some titles. And what I think I'll do for the end of the night won't be too much longer, but let's close off with a little bit of Shadowrun Dragonfall. But what I am going to do first is take a break. I haven't actually done one tonight, and I'm definitely feeling it. So I will ask 3 minutes of your time while the game loads. I'm just going to get a drink of water, get up and stretch. I encourage you guys to do the same for yourself. And we'll wrap out the night for just a couple of side missions in Shadowrun Dragonfall before we call it an evening. Come on, mouse. Alright, so we had a couple of missions that we did. The thing that's happening with Shadowrun right now is we're getting kind of sidetracked with a lot of side missions, so I think I'm going to change what I said I was going to do last time, and I'm actually going to talk to Paul Amsel to start with, and then I can decide which mission I want to do. Minerva, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I've been looking into the Harfield matter. Whatever Feuerschwange is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. And I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with dummy address. From there, all of that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfeld estate. How much money are we talking about here? I can't name an exact figure, but we are talking about a lot of money. In the millions of Nuyen, most certainly. Whatever the Firewing is planning, she has access to all the resources she'll need to carry it out. But Feuerschwange was different. She didn't scheme or plot. She acted. Yes, and look at where it got her. When the Firewing launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic for us to assume that she would make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this for a while you and your team tackle your next run. With luck, I will have more information to share on your return. Sounds good, Paul. I also forgot to change the game title. Twitch doesn't want to seem to change the title. What did I do after this doctor mission? I think I did one about a gang that was stealing weapons. I actually lost the first combat route, but I wound up upgrading my charisma and doing the option that I wanted to anyway. One last thing, Minerva. Elite was able to restore the readable surface of one of Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you will find it sitting beside the player. Just one of them? She's still working on the others. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off them is proving to be quite a chore. She told me that she'll be in touch when she makes any headway. Thanks, Paul. The media tray of the DVD player slides out of its battered plastic case. Load the second DVD. The software of the spinning DVD is punctuated by an occasional rattling sound. The scratched LCD display comes to life, and a menu fills the screen. Play track 1. The screen goes black for a moment, then Green Winters appears on the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2054-11-11. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Feuerschwange, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let's see what the rumor mill has to say. The screen jumps, and Winters reappears in a different location. He's now clutching a mug of soy calf in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening. Assuming that any of it was true, that is. So for the past 5 hours, I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories related to dragons and the SOX. As a reminder, the SOX is an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off in 08 after the Cattenom Gao reactor meltdown. Oh, that's fine, CPO Williams. I had this feeling for a while with the chat that I probably had a few people who were watching but not actually conscious. But it was, I mean, the mission was okay, but I didn't think it was as interesting as some of the other side missions, so I kind of just ended the stream after that. I definitely won't be spending a lot of time on Shadowrun tonight, because I've noticed that I tend to make these things go too long, and my narration sort of fails after a while. It's a little bit like Crusader Kings tonight, actually, where I sort of felt like I didn't have anything to say after a while because I was just spinning my wheels on these factions. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumors floating around about this place. I've heard stories about a walled city in there that operates on a survival of the fittest, kill or be killed basis. Some sort of nightmare inversion of Berlin. All of the anarchy, but none of the stability that the F-state provides. The radiation poisoning, cancer, and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot Feuerschwing down, she crashed into the SOX. That much is well known. What isn't well known is that all the modern-day myths that have arisen about her since, and tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat. That's a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult, the Disciples of the Cleansing Fire. Apparently these cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Feuerschwang, or could be something, could be nothing, but it's worth digging into all the same. The narration helps the drifting. Thank you. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumor in the SOX is that Feuerschwang, our astral form, was, I guess you'd say, mutated by all that background radiation. Some of the glowpunks out there say that she's shed her body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped, doomed to languish in an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be, but then she could just be a run-of-the-mill glowpunk. Or maybe she's yanking my chain. She's never been into the SOX at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought anyway. I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon is, but it's interesting all the same. Now the big question is, will any of this get me closer to finding Adrian? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, but you can never tell. Winters leans forward and presses something off screen. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Play track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then Green Winters appears on the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2054-11-12. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue the Fire Ring. But he was driven off, some say killed, by Lofrier and Nebelher. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Winters grabs a thick leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger, and begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First is the Golden Worm Lofrier, the CEO of Cedar Krupp, quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lofrier is a local boy, and he's in a position to help Feuerschwang. He certainly has financial capability to help her,